Hi everybody, this is Otto from growthandmastery.com, and today I want to share a really good technique I found on how to stop negative thinking. Now, throughout my life, I've had problems with this personally, thinking negatively, uh, depending on situations, and I know this happens to a lot of people, and I know that this can really get in the way of really your dreams, your goals, and all that kind of thing. If you're trying to achieve something, and people can fall apart mentally, start thinking negatively, and maybe give up on some of their goals and dreams. Um, this, like I said, is definitely gotten in the way of me achieving certain things at times, and I've had to overcome it. And one of the really good ways I've found is learning, researching and learning from other people how to do this. And why do we do this in the first place? I had to find out why this happens in the first place. And one really common explanation is that we're wired for fight or flight. Okay, back when our ancestors had to worry about the saber-toothed tiger, we had to watch where we're going and being always wondering if we're going to become somebody's lunch or not. And that makes sense. You always have to be careful about where you walk around in your environment, and that became part of our evolution in our brain. And so nowadays, evolution really hasn't caught up with the idea that, well, we're pretty much on top of the food chain, and we don't need all that anymore, all that negative thinking. But the negative thinking is still there. So I like that. That explanation. That really explains a lot why we're wired that way, and why we keep a lot of people just are wired into just using negative thinking a lot. And it can be self-defeating. So a really good technique that I found is through learning with Tony Robbins. I attended his event at the UPW Unlimited Power Within. Very powerful event. It's just amazing. One of the best things I've ever attended. It's incredible. I really recommend it. If you're interested in finding out more, I have the link below in this video. And what I do is really combine different ideas. And I've also learned from Stefan Pilarinos, and he's a young entrepreneur, self-made millionaire, and he teaches a lot of techniques too, a lot of self-development techniques, and that I followed here for a while. And I've learned a lot from him too. As a matter of fact, I subscribe to his course, Morning Ritual Mastery, and that's an amazing course. Changed my life, and it really complements what Tony Robbins teaches as well. And it's just really amazing. I got the link below in this video as well if you want to learn more about that. But it's really amazing stuff. And a third resource that I used is MRT, the Army MRT program. And MRT stands for Master Resilience Training. And really, this is a program developed by the University of Maryland University of Pennsylvania for the U.S. Army soldiers, so they can become more resilient. You know, they have to deploy and go to war and all that kind of thing, and they come back. And I found this training to be one of the best things I've ever attended, right up there with Tony Robbins' course and all that kind of thing. If some things were even better even. So I combined some of these techniques, use them for my purpose, for different aspects of my life. In this case, I'll share with you how I do learning for what I learned from them, how I stop myself from thinking negatively, and it works immediately. Okay, the first thing you want to do, there's a two-step process. The first thing you want to do is interrupt. Whenever you have negative thinking, you're just spiraling, your thoughts are spiraling out of control, and you think about an event, you're just thinking negatively and you can't stop it, and you kind of notice that and you want to stop it, but you don't know how. You just go right back to it. You want to interrupt it, and one of the best ways is to do a mental game. So for mental games, for a mental game to work, it has to have three characteristics. For one, it has to take your full attention. First of all, it's got to take away any attention from anything else that you're doing. Second, it's got to be hard enough, challenging enough to do, but it's got to be fun. And three, it has to take a few minutes at least. Okay, and it can't be really short, like 10 seconds. It can't be, or it can be long, but you don't want it to go too long either, for hours at a time. A few minutes is good enough. So the easiest mental game that I've found that has that is a countdown from 100 to 0, and you do it in increments of 3. So for example, you start from 100 and you go down to 97. What's next? 94, and you keep going. 91, and after a while you have to start thinking about, okay, what's next, and you just keep going. And that, for most people, is challenging enough that you have to think about it. Think about what the next number, count in your head, say the next number, and keep it going. So that's the number one thing that's going to interrupt what you're doing. Okay, it's kind of fun. If you're not a math person, you can find something else, you know, that keeps, again, takes your attention, that has the three characteristics: long enough, challenging enough, but fun. But I find that I'm not too much of a math person per se, but I find that if anything, it makes me even better at with numbers, and it just keeps me challenged. It's easy. I've shown my kids how to do it when they're having a problem, and it works. So the kids are like, "Oh, that's a great idea." So it works well even for children, for adults. It really works. Once you're feeling good enough, you don't have to do it all the way to 0. I never go down to 0 with this thing. I usually, after a while, I recognize that I'm feeling better, and once I'm feeling like, you know, I'm feeling okay. If I was upset about something, or just don't stop my negative thinking, once I stop and like, okay, I can reset now. The second part of it is what's called hunting the good stuff. Tony Robbins and Stephen Pillarinos call it, usually they call it being grateful. And the premise of all this is, or hunting the good stuff, the MRT program teaches this. The Army MRT program teaches this also, and they call it hunting the good stuff. And what it is being grateful for 3 things. And it's not enough to just list 3 things. Say, I'm grateful for 3 things that I have, and you're done. You want to be grateful, you want to list them out, but also you want to expand upon that. For example, you have 3 different things. I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful that yesterday I spent 2 hours playing soccer with my children, for example. Why am I grateful for that? Because, you know, I bonded with them. These things, I remember when I grew up, and the most memorable things that I have about my father was when he took the time to actually play with us kids. And I know that this is going to be a memorable thing for my kids when I took the time and the effort to play with them. It also just reinforces our love for each other, my love for them, and that they're important enough that I spend time with them. So that's why I'm grateful for that. Event number 2. I'm grateful that today is a beautiful day, that I can be outside and I can do this video for you guys. It's just amazing having beautiful days like this. The temperature's just right. I think we're in the 70s right now. It was a little bit in the 80s earlier. Just gorgeous weather, and it's just lucky enough that I could just go outside and enjoy the weather and doing this video. And it makes me feel good because actually I can share something useful with you guys, something that I know has helped me tremendously to change my life, and I know it'll help. It's got to help at least somebody out there to change their lives. So I'm very grateful for that. And the third event is yesterday I attended a party, and it was a beautiful party. Some friends of ours had a brand new home. They had a beautiful home, and they shared it with everybody, and we all had a good time. It's always nice to get together with friends and family, and it's always nice to have an excuse to do that. And again, bonding with friends and all that kind of thing. It was really nice to have a conversation with people that you hadn't seen in a while, and making new friends as well. And so I really feel lucky, and I think that was a very positive thing. So basically, those were examples of what you do with hunting the good stuff. And I recommend you do this every day, hunting the good stuff. Tony Robbins, Stephen Pilarinos, they recommend doing this daily, and I truly recommend it too. You can do it in a journal. I recommend doing it in a journal whenever possible. It's very, very powerful to do this with somebody else, okay? With your significant other, or with your children maybe, or anybody you share with, your co-worker and all that kind of thing, and tell them what you're doing. Somebody you trust, tell them what you're doing, and tell them that really it's a powerful thing. Instead of concentrating on negativity about things in the world, you know, how about we share with each other 3 things that are positive and why they're positive. It really makes a big difference. You know, some people go for it. Now make sure that when you are explaining to yourself or to others why you're grateful, don't keep it short. You know, keep it, if you're writing it down, make it a good paragraph, okay? A good long paragraph. And what you're doing is you're cultivating your feelings. And this is not only great for when you're thinking negatively, but you can do this daily, so it becomes a routine of all of a sudden, you know, it's more of an automatic thing to think positive about things and feeling good, okay? And you're reaping the benefits of always thinking positive. Once you think positive about one thing, about my children, about the weather and other kind of thing, other things come up in your life that you start thinking, you know what, that's a positive thing as well. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this is very useful for you, as it was very useful for me, and it continues to be. Really, this technique has really changed my life, and I hope it's useful to somebody. Okay, let me know in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel if you like, and check out my blog, which has the details about what I've talked about in this video. Thank you so much.